Our fourth and final speaker, who is Dr. Mir Sadaat. Dr. Sadaat received a PhD in social marketing from the University of Hertfordshire in the UK. He currently works as an assistant professor at the University of Balochistan and is the president of the Balochistan Council for Peace and Policy. This council is largely concerned with providing practical recommendations to policymakers on governance, inclusion, and peace. Dr. Sadaat's areas of expertise include peace building, conflict management, and countering violent extremism. Welcome, Dr. Sadaat. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mary. I hope you can hear me properly now. Yeah. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank my other speakers, Dr. Hoti, Mr. Mughal, and Mr. Bab, for their insightful presentation. And if we look at the concept of Islamophobia, as the previous speakers have spoken about it, so everybody, they see Islamophobia from the lens of political lens. And we have never tried to look at this concept from the social perspective that existed. If we see Islamophobia, it started from West or Europe, as we say, but as the time passed on, and in recent event, as the topic suggests, that it has increased a lot in South Asian countries. And Mr. Bab already talked about India, but before India, this Islamophobia was claimed a lot in Sri Lanka and in Myanmar. And we have seen that what has happened in Sri Lanka in 2018, when in Kandy there was a planned education against the Muslim, which was started on social media, and then it went out of hand. And then we also witnessed that how Muslims were treated in Rangonia, Myanmar, as we say. And so if we look at these things, so Islamophobia is basically a political construct, because politically, when people want to say that they are correct, so they always have to put blame on somebody. And sadly, for last 10 or 15 years in South Asia, the South Asian politicians, what they have done is that they do not say that, okay, we are not doing good in a particular area. Whenever they are not doing good, they always go back historically, as Dr. Hoti mentioned. Historically, they said that this has been done in our region, this has been done in our region, and we need to correct it. And by correcting, they mean that the only way to correct these things is not to understand the other religion, but they just want that those religions, they should be eliminated from their country. When I was in UK, I still remember that right after when Osama bin Laden was apprehended in Pakistan, and then there was an art exhibition, and I went to that art exhibition. And while I was there, 2 or 3 English people, they came to me, and they were just talking to me casually, and then they said, okay, you're from Pakistan? I said, yes. Okay, so do you guys in Pakistan, you appreciate art? I said, yes. Why not? They said, no, because you're Muslim. I said, if you look at our history, we have a whole history of art and culture. And then afterwards, there was a conversation, and they kept on talking for like 10 to 15 minutes, and I let them talk. And once they were finished, and I said, okay, let's end this debate with an example. I said, if I and you, we both go and we buy a car from a Toyota company, and you use your car for taxi purpose, and I use my car for hitting people. So will you blame the Toyota company for it, or you will blame me. And they were all directly, they said, no, we will of course blame you, not the Toyota company. I said the same goes with Islam. It is not Islam that you keep on blaming. It is not the Muslim that you keep on blaming. Everybody has a different interpretation for Islam. So they have their own interpretation, and based on their interpretation, when they do something, they should be held responsible for it, not the whole religion or the whole community. And then in that way, what I realized at that time is that in order to understand that what are the fears of other people foremost, we need to listen to them carefully. And once we listen to them, after that, then we can argue with them, or we can come up with solutions. But sadly, what is happening in the world right now is that, as one of our speaker mentioned, that they kill one, then we kill two, and then they kill four, and then we kill 10. So that's how things are going on. And at the moment, the particular focus is that how this thing is affecting South Asia. Because right now we are going through a pandemic, and that pandemic is it is having a lot of stress on the country's economy or culture, or it is affecting everything. And like the way that Muslims are being discriminated, even if they get sick of COVID, they feel fearful to go to the hospital, that maybe they will not be checked, or even if they will be checked, maybe they will also go and do something with their whole family. So because of that, we fear that more and more Muslims, they will be living together in overpopulated areas, which can increase the fear of virus being spread among them. And after that, if we see on the political front, somebody needs to tell the leaders in India, the leaders in Sri Lanka, the leaders in Thailand, even in Thailand, they are being discriminated, that while doing this, they are also enticing the moderate Muslims who are very rational. But when they see that whatever is being done with the other fellow Muslims, maybe they can also go and join the radical ones, and then God knows what will happen. And apart from this, on tech, the most fearful thing is that the technological side is unchecked. We need to ensure some mechanism through which we see that how the production and dissemination of hate content is checked on social media, because right now social media is the biggest factory of creating hate. So now the point is that how we can do all that, as Dr. Hoti said in her presentation, the best way to do this is to educate everyone. We need to educate. It's not that we just sit in our rooms and we tell that, okay, the Hindus, they need to understand us, the Buddhists, they need to understand us, or the other religion, they need to understand us. If they are not coming to us, we can go to them, we can educate them, we can educate them through writing, we can educate them through seminars like what you are doing right now, like the book that Dr. Hoti has written. These are the kind of endeavors that we need to do, and we need to create a new discourse. That discourse should be based on empathy, tolerance, understanding, and we should always be there to give benefit of doubt to others. Thank you.
So I'll just move on to the next question. So Muslims belonging to the UK's South Asian diasporas have suffered Islamophobia because of the blanket characterizations and stereotypes of their people as extremist. I'm reminded particularly of the news last year that the leader of Britain First was creating a training camp in London to prepare Britain to fight the so-called extremist jihadist Islamist movement that allegedly exists in this country. Innocent South Asian Muslims suffer hate crimes because of beliefs in some quarters such as this, that many members of our Muslim community are terrorists. And what ought to be done to tackle these stereotypes and harmful characterizations, maybe apart from, dealing with the education system that some of our speakers have touched on? Does anybody want to come in on that? So I know that there's been wanting to take accountability of, say, the people that lead us. So because Islamophobia has been quite rampant, say, within the Tory party, that if they're not prepared to address it, then yes, please, Dr. Start first, and then we'll come to Fiaz afterwards.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. You see, first of all, what we have to do is we need our people to understand that not that what Islamophobia is, but why Islamophobia is there. As long as people do not understand the root cause that why Islamophobia is here, so this thing will be here and it will exist here. So we need to tell people that why it is existing here. As we say that there is a political perspective to it, there is a historical perspective to it, there is a social perspective, and sadly the social perspective is not researched upon that much, because when I read about this concept, it is mostly political. And then there is one thing that we need our future generation to understand, that if you can justify an act, it doesn't mean that that act is right. Because what most of the people do is, especially when they harm somebody else, they always have a justification for it. And then what happens is that when the younger lot, they see that, okay, he has done something, but he is justifying it. So it means if you can justify something, you can do that. No, this is not the point. We need to make sure that our younger lot, our younger people, they understand this thing, that if something is justifiable, it doesn't mean that you should go ahead and you do it. You need to have empathy in yourself. You need to understand that how you would feel if the same thing happens to you. So basically, we need to create a society where people are more empathetic about such things. Then I think that we can curtail Islamophobia or any other such fear. Thank you.